when we enter as guests, we have a different energy. So in Luke 10, I think I've talked about that text 3 or 4 times already, but again, Jesus says, go there and find a person of peace and sit at the table and eat what's set before you. You're not in control. Go as sheep among wolves. Go vulnerable. Vulnerable. You're not in control. Stay there. Remain. Don't go from house to house. Remain at the table. So time. And only then, after all that, proclaim the kingdom of God is here. Make space for the recognition that Jesus is here and he's working for the healing and the renewal of all things. So there's a different energy. The word submit is a problematic word, as I've already said, but I go into a place and I submit to the organization and controls and issues going on in this place. I learn the language of this place. I do not sit in judgment, especially since I don't know any of the history yet. I take a long time until I become I go from being an acquaintance to a friend because I'm there again and again. We try to tell people or train people to think about the half circle as something you do as a regular part of your life, not going there to be the person who's going to solve people's problems or offer a gift or a service from a posture of power. Go there regularly as just part of your life, you know? Like I coach hockey. I do it anyways, but actually space is open for the kingdom amongst me and the boys and girls that they're actually teenagers now, the men and women that I'm coaching. So all those dynamics come into play, and it really does change everything. A couple of times we've had problems with people confusing the guest space with the middle space, or where the disciple is a host. As soon as the disciple becomes a host, as soon as you invite somebody to your table, it's a different dynamic. You probably sense it even by just the way I'm talking about it. But now, what am I doing here? Why did you invite me here? What are you expecting from me? Those kind of questions. But if I go to somebody else's house, I'm here, and they're the ones who are now hosting, and a different dynamic is taking place. The kingdom always broke out wherever Jesus went as guest, and the Pharisees were always upset. When he went to the house of Levi, he goes to be a guest there, but salvation broke. When he called Zacchaeus down from the tree and said, I want to go to your house and eat, the Pharisees were appalled, but salvation broke out. It's because people are able to not come defensive or what are you doing to me, but they're actually now opening up their lives to you through the hospitality of them towards us. It changes everything, really. It's so important, the guest posture, to go into the world. It's the place and the way God makes space to work in the world for us.
So to maybe bridge some of that language in social services, we talk about self-directed support, self-directed services, right? And that involves a process of finding out who the person is, what they're about, what they care about. And so I think your language around being a guest and the call to be a guest, the biblical call to be a guest, actually fits with some of that quite well. Where we could approach self-directed services by still having a plan, right? I'm going in there and I'm going to figure somebody out. I'm going to write down who they are. The guest attitude invites us to go in to be with somebody, yes, and to see how God is at work in their life, where maybe God is calling them. They may not, like you say, they may not recognize even their own spiritual drives. And it may be much more fundamental in terms of what relationships are being healed in their lives, right? How are they interacting with their neighborhood and the world around them? How is God at work there to heal maybe some of those things? But I love how your language helps us make some of those connections between our Christian commitments and language that would be used maybe more in social services.